next game at the ASUS ROG tournament. And starting to the top left in blue, we have our Terran player for Team Liquid. It is TaeJa. TaeJa up against his teammate, of course. Starting to the bottom right of Belcher Vestige, we have the Zerg player. It is TLO. The little one.
Yep. I don't know, that last game, that was just very disappointing because that is when every single Terran's going to move out against the Zerg in the mid game. But TLO just got caught being a little bit off guard, a little bit too greedy, and that happens to everyone, so I'm sure he'll be ready for it this game. And the other thing to note that game is TaeJa actually kept his Hellions alive. For the first time in any TVZ we've casted of him in this tournament. It was very strange that he was being so sloppy with them, but he did manage to keep him alive that game, and we saw what a difference that makes to the mid game.
Yeah, it definitely helped him quite a lot, and that's something, I mean, TLO exploited that very well in game number 1. He saw, of course, a couple of those games that TaeJa played yesterday against Live Zerg. But right now, in this game, we have for TaeJa apparently a Reaper opening. Once again, at least we see the barracks, so I would expect the Refinery in second, and there it is.
Yeah, I believe he opened up with Reaper here. Actually, no, this was the 2-racks map. And TLO actually sending his first Overlord out and around to the left, so that kind of makes me think that he is scouting for proxy 2-racks. As normally you send your first Overlord up and around to look straight at the natural. Obviously, it's just you're looking for expansion timings and stuff like that. So it definitely seems like TLO might be a little bit worried about that. That suggests that he was watching those games yesterday because he did 2-racks on here.
If he saw the games, I'm a little bit surprised about the movement of the Overlord, though, because he misses exactly the spot where the 2-racks was placed down yesterday.
Oh, no, I thought it was like right here.
Wasn't it a little bit farther to the right where the the Overlord is now going to the right? I thought it was like over here somewhere. No, you're actually right. Sorry, my bad. I misspoke.
Although he would have found it kind of late, honestly. I'm not sure if it would have helped too much, given that he went down and checked his third base first.
Knowing is half the battle.
No, against proxy 2-racks, you can know and it still works.
It's a great saying. Don't ruin it.
First Reaper is on the way out, and no gas, actually, for TLO. This is the same thing we saw in that first game. And he made it work. He's okay with it, just sitting back and kind of weathering the storm and getting that third base later. But this is not ideal for playing against Reapers. You want to get that speedling out right away so you can go ahead and take your third base before it gets too late.
TLO, on the other hand, against the Reaper aggression in game number 1, he actually did a pretty decent job keeping his drones alive. But of course, the third base is definitely going to be one of those positions where he wants to have that speed so they can push out. Guys, if you're a fan of those two players, make sure that you add them on Twitter as well. This is just our first game and the best of 5 of the day, so they will be playing in those groups for a long, long time. If you want to support them, you can add them at Liquid TaeJa and at Liquid TLO. Also, make sure that you add Greg and myself at Idra and at Kaldor. Let us know if you enjoy the cast so far. First time that we cast together, actually.
Yes, it is.
It's good fun, so guys, if you like it, then send us a tweet and let us know. And so far, TLO doing, once again, his thing. Extractor immediately being built once that the drone is hitting those 5 hit points.
Yep, a Spore Crawler right away as well. Just keeping, again, 3 drones alive this way. Actually, only 2 this time.
In the last game, he actually let those double extractors complete. This time we have the cancel, and the first few queens are already there, so that helps him on a map like Belcher Vestige so much. There's not a lot of areas where he can jump into the main base, but he can run by, I guess.
Although he has gotten in, and there is, the queen was over at the ramp trying to scare those out. Oh, and he actually runs out through, and he almost loses 1 Reaper to those Zerglings. But Reapers early game are incredibly slippery. They basically never die.
They're super annoying.
Yes, they are. And a third CC already for TaeJa, so this is the normal Reaper expansion into greedy play build. If TLO does offer some kind of cheese, this could be it could be effective here. It is possible to hold it off, but as a Terran player, you have to know what's coming and you have to prepare for it. But TLO is saying he doesn't really want to cheese. He wants to go into macro games here. He feels that TaeJa's too solid against that stuff early game.
Did you, by the way, see the StarCraft's video where they show the Reaper? And the Reaper is desperately trying to kill that drone? You never saw that?
Oh, like the Carbot animation one?
Oh, yeah, the Carbot, the StarCraft.
I'm sure I did. I've seen all of them, but I don't remember in particular.
It's like amazing. Like the Reaper jumps into the main base and starts to take down the drones, and he just tries really, really hard, but he doesn't do any damage. So he's just like
yeah, I saw that one.
Has to use another clip for his gun. So that's pretty funny. I mean, if I have nightmares, it's usually about Reapers being as they are now in Heart of the Swarm, but still doing the Wings of Liberty damage.
Oh, that would be... Don't talk about that. Oh, my God.
That's why...
That's like flashbacks to Cologne right there.
That's when I usually wake up screaming. Well, the third base is now up, and TLO is going into the Roachborn here. The speed is now halfway done, whereas TaeJa shows us the cloak upgrade for the Banshees.
Yep, very fast cloak Banshee, even after that third CC. You usually don't see that. Usually you delay the third CC to get the Banshee tech out very quickly, if that is what you want to do. But here, third CC, then the Banshee tech. But TLO is going to see everything, that Overlord coming in, seeing the third command center timing as well as the tech. So that's absolutely great for him.
And the Baneling nest just about completed, so he has Baneling and Roaches at his disposal, is going into those ball crawlers that will help him a lot against the Banshee player of his opponent, of course.
He actually canceled the Baneling nest and started up his lair as soon as he saw that Banshee. So he was actually going to go for a Roach Baneling attack and called it off upon seeing the Banshee, which is a good decision on his part.
Yeah, you're actually right. I thought the Baneling nest finished, but no, he used to cancel there.
Yeah.
And now he's starting to defend against the Banshees. At the third base, of course, he needs a few of those ball crawlers to walk over there if he wants to make that super safe against the Banshees. But with the queen count that he currently has, 4, he could pull a few of those to the left, but then, of course, he's going to miss his injects. Never really what you want to happen.
No, it's definitely not. He does have a few Roaches out to scare that back. And as we were talking about yesterday, if you can prevent those Hellions from doing damage, the Banshees actually aren't that scary. One interesting thing, though, is since he was going for that Roach Baneling attack, he actually didn't put down any Evo chambers, and he still has not. He hasn't even started them, and obviously has not started any upgrades because of that.
Yeah.
So that's actually going to be a pretty big hindrance to his mid and late game.
TaeJa is now getting his own engineering bay up, so he will start with the 1-1 in just a few seconds, while we have for TLO not only the Overseer, now that it's going to help him a little bit to keep up with the Banshee, but going into the Overlord speed. So if he goes into a transition into, he's going into an Infestation Pit right away, and the double Evolution Chamber.
Yep. Of course, putting up that double Evo as soon as he feels like he's going to have gas for it. Mid-game TVC is just just absolutely revolves around upgrade timings, because Marines and Zerglings are both just infected.
Did you expect the Infestation Pit to come up? I actually thought you would go into a normal Spire play.
I did as well, especially against Banshee play. I don't know, maybe it's because of the success he had early on. He feels that the Banshee is going to give him the same kind of timing window to get up to a fast Hive tech that worked so well for him. But his upgrades are late. He doesn't have nearly as much of an economic advantage or the map control. He's lacking in gas, and he's continuing to add Roaches, but there goes the Hive, so...
He's going to troll us hardcore, and in just a second we're going to see Swarm Host against Terran.
I don't think so. He's experimented quite a bit with Swarm Hosts.
Yeah, he did.
He, along with every other Zerg, agrees that if you go them against Bio, you're going to lose. Except for Zenyo. Zenyo apparently thinks those work, but they don't.
Yeah. He's not convinced yet.
No. Overlord dropping creep at the third, that's incredibly annoying for a Terran player. It's going to slow that down quite a bit. Really nice on his part.
Yeah, especially since there's not a lot of anti-air right now for him. He has 9 Marines in total, and they finally make their way over to the right. The Overlord now going down, but it takes some time for the creep to recede. Keep in mind that this force of TaeJa is still roaming the map and trying to shut down as many creep tumors as possible. The Overlords, for now at least, are lucky enough that there are no Marines that are roaming the map and trying to take them out. Once again, we have TaeJa without the Viking here. And he actually gets his siege tanks up. Not only the first one for the initial defense, but he gets the second one at this time already.
Yeah, he's seen the continued Roach production, so he is actually just going to use tanks as a core in his army.
That would actually really be a problem for him once we have the Ultralisks in the game. I mean, we have a couple of Roaches now there, 12 in total, and he's getting another 6. So he's definitely getting the Roach production out there, but the ultimate goal is once again going into the Ultralisks.
Yeah, it's really strange. TLO got both the Roach speed and late, but he is getting Baneling speed now. So it kind of seems like he's going for a big mid-game Roachling Bane all-in. And I almost thought he was going to cancel the Hive for a second, just use it as a fake. But he did allow it to complete. But he's not doing anything with it, so it may actually just be a very elaborate fake. He says, hey, look, I got a Hive. I'm not going to attack you anytime soon, and then does a big Roach speed Baneling all in. That's the only thing that his unit production upgrades really kind of leads to.
Yeah, he's going into even more Roaches now. I really thought he would just get a few to deal with that incoming army so that he can buy himself the time to go into the Ultralisk. But now he's starting even +2/+2. He has the Ultralisk Cavern also on the way, but still a pretty significant army with nearly 30 Roaches. And here we go. They are shutting that, of course, down in just a few seconds. We have an attack to the top right, trying to take down those Harvesters. Counter-aggression by TLO now, but he's heavily supply blocked at that. Needs to get a few more Overlords out there while he's starting his own tech. And the Roaches at least eliminating most of the tanks.
Yeah, getting 2 takes for that, just for a handful of Zerglings that went in and got some SCVs as well. That was really nice on his part. And
1 SCV.
One SCV. They were in the mineral line for so long, I figured they'd kill a bit more, but
yeah, me too.
SCVs have a lot of HP.
We need a new cardboard video with Zerglings trying to take down an SCV.
And those couple of Banshees still just sitting there and getting free damage. Nothing in TLO's army actually addresses those.
Well, pretty decent flank here, though, and that's a lot of Roaches trying to take down those fire units. Of course, he's being cleared up in the end, but at
Kaldar, those are Roaches.
Huh?
Those are Roaches. They don't do anything.
if you would talk
that was
to,
just terrible.
just talk to Todd. He will convince you otherwise.
No, he's tried. It doesn't work. I don't know.
He's pretty insistent about that.
TLO is in a really bad situation here. His 2-2 upgrades are so late. He is getting the Ultras out, but unupgraded Ultras, there's already Marauders in the army because he has been dealing with those Roaches. And those 2 Banshees, there's still just nothing to do about those.
On the other hand, TaeJa is not too far ahead in the upgrades. He's actually a little bit behind. So yes, we don't have the 3-3 as fast as he would like to have it. We have it not nearly as fast as in game number 1. But maybe if he is able to buy himself some time.
Maybe, but the thing is, like, the biggest thing that was going for him in game 1 wasn't that he was like keeping up with upgrades, but is that he actually had an upgrade advantage. And this game, he's not going to have that. He also has a much worse economy. He was on 5 bases to 3 in that game, whereas here it's 3 to 3, and he's wasted a bunch of gas on the Roaches and Infestors.
He's getting a lot of Zerglings out now to keep up with the army size of his opponent, but TaeJa is already up to 100 army supply against 70, so the lead for the Terran play is pretty significant. TLO at least able to get those +2/+2 upgrades out. TaeJa not there quite yet. Kaitina's plating is also going to work for him, but the Terran player is taking his 4th base at exactly the same time that we see the 4th hatch go down for TLO. So Zerg is now just trying to make those Ultralisks work somehow and be a bit aggressive here, but losing the Infestors against the Banshees is not a good start for that attack.
And that's still his only anti-air is those Infestors, so as long as he's very careful about taking those out with the Banshees, there's nothing much he can do.
Not even a cancel on the 5th base that was established, or he tried to establish to the left side of the map, so losing those minerals as well.
Yep, and over here at the right base, well, he continues to skirmish at the left base. Over at the right base, only 2 Ultras against a gigantic Terran army moving out.
Yeah, he would need the mother of funnels to actually make that happen, but it doesn't look like he's even getting a small one. And now those siege tanks taking out, but they do enough damage to the rest of the bio forces, of course, with that split that we just saw of TaeJa. Taking the Ultralisks apart here, not even pausing for a second. That's a 50 supply lead here for TaeJa once again, and in army supply, things are also looking pretty grim.
Yeah, TLO actually did better than I expected in that engagement. He kind of pushed it back a bit, but TLO's army is not expendable at all at the moment. TaeJa's is, and TLO is forced out.
Yep. GG, so we have the lead for the Terran player here in the series. TaeJa, after being behind 1 game, is now taking the lead with a 2-1. And if he wins another map here, then he will go to the winner's match in Group A on the round of 16.